lights too, but if we're gonna have something behind.
Yo. Oh, I look terrible. Look. Yeah. I mean, I'll have to turn around and get the whatever they're presenting too.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I figure, and I can change the lighting too, depending on how we want to do it with the screen.
I guess the only thing I would do is just take these lines down. Is that doable?
Yep, those are doable. Yep, just grab the side and I'm gonna also shut the lights off right behind it because it makes it hard to see sometimes. I can always turn that on. Yeah, I love this projector because, I love our projector because you can see. You can see when it's dark, you can see when it's lighter.
Yeah.
I just figured out something I want to do, because we have lectures every month,
Yeah.
and but our lecturer no longer wants to come here, because he lectures his PhD, he lectures all over the world now, but he's doing it all through Zoom ever since this COVID thing started. Sure, I'm gonna push these down. And maybe I'm not. Usually if you go to, actually, you're gonna have to go up on this one for some reason. I figured, I was like, wait, I can do a Zoom and just project it on the screen.
Yes.
So I thought we were gonna do a pack, I don't know why I didn't think of it before. But I'm so glad I did. That's perfect.
I wonder if I can pause this.
Turn the microphone on too.
Okay.
We're gonna show up. So how many people you know?
Yeah, well,
I think only about
there's gonna be
7 or 8.
There might be a few.
Okay.
You guys are sitting back there, so I'm gonna move
Okay.
over this way a little bit so I don't block.
Oh, well, we can get up when we talk.
No, that's fine. I just want to be able to hear because I'm
Are you taking notes?
I am.
You're the
Okay.
note person.
Are you using the screen?
Yeah, we're just do handouts.
All right, good enough.
Yeah.
Good enough. I just wanted to make sure that.
So are you chairing it for
I
them?
am, oh, attempt to chair it.
My fingers. It's really frustrating when you get to the produce section. You notice that? Where
What's
you
that?
ask when you get to the produce section, you use the ones with your fingers when you can't get them apart. You sit there and you're like, ah.
Is this the new protocol to Zoom it?
Well, we have one person coming in by Zoom, which is a member of the media. So,
Is it the same woman?
yes, no, different one. Have you met Owen? Owen wasn't from online?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Who was the, I don't know.
No, she wasn't here, the
Okay.
last one. We already have one.
It's nice for portion direction.
Hello. It is, so we're asking the guests to sit right over here.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it there. And if we don't have all the people here, we're gonna give you one of these too.
Okay.
So,
Okay, thank you.
yep,
It might be this book. Probably
John, chairing the meeting.
not.
Dave.
Dave Riddle?
Yeah.
Dave Riddle?
he is our VFW/board member.
Are you the one, this one, Lane? Pretty name all of, you know, early the same building like
That family don't. That's consensus. I like that.
My brother-in-law bought 17. I know that the first one is the golf course.
Yeah.
Lots down there. Yeah, there's one house and a huge acreage.
It used to be that there was some parking land. So,
I know.
I can talk about.
I thought the same thing too. Was a little surprised.
What was the name? It was, I know, just as you start going to the point, there's a hill, and that was on track.
Yeah.
But I'm not aware of other things that were sold out there.
You gotta work that in.
Murray, yeah, that ties into that. Oh, okay, that, we call it the alley, that's it, lot. As you go around the curve. Now I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, now
Yeah, they're very happy there.
yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a neat place.
Do you know who else is showing up? Is there?
Russell should be here.
Okay.
No, Ken is not coming. I got it, Tim is gonna be coming. Ken's here. Mary's not coming, so really I'm just waiting for Russell.
Okay, so I'm gonna give Dave this extra one, extra for him to look at. That's okay with me? Since we have enough. Here you go, Dave.
Oh, thanks.
He's got a Zoom set up up there, I think, for, one of the.
Charlie? I'll catch Cheryl, I'll let her know you there. Oh, no. You have a card, yeah, I'll do it, it's your code. Okay, I'll go let her know. Yeah, I'll be out after the meeting. Yeah, stay long enough, you'll hear the string of pearls.
Is that what's happening tonight?
Yeah, 6:30.
Hey, Owen, can you see? Hey, Owen, can you see?
Yeah,
Okay, all right. You look like a blank screen, okay?
yeah, hang on, I can change.
I'll be at the front.
There I am.
Chelsea ran into him earlier today, he said he was gonna be here, so. Kind of, not literally. Figuratively, right?
Hi, Owen.
Hi.
Stephanie. This is a good practice, John, if we have to do this again.
What, for Zoom or me?
For us as a committee. But all of the above, right?
Right. I don't think I want that. I don't want a mask now.
Yeah, this is very bizarre. Why are we, Stephanie?
What?
Why we're wearing masks? The state of Connecticut has dropped the requirement. The town of Lyme and Old Lyme has dropped the requirement for those who are vaccinated.
Yeah, well, we're staying masked for now at the senior center until they make it safe for seniors to eat together, because at that point, everybody will be unmasked. And we're using, because that comes from the, I would say Agency on Aging, Senior Resources. We figure that's a good marker for us.
Sounds like maybe they just haven't updated their stuff yet, based on the state of Connecticut and one Rhode Island. It sounds like they're behind it.
Russell is still up.
That's what I thought.
Hey, Russell.
We're just waiting for you.
All
I
right,
was outside for the last 20 minutes.
Having your coffee.
welcome everybody. I call this meeting to order. Thank you to Dan Hagan for recording this, for taking the minutes. We have, point one is guests, and we also have Dave Griswold in the corner here. So thank you. First area of focus is the minutes of June 9th, just to make sure that we need to add, sorry,
We get someone on Zoom, Dave?
yes, Owen Logan.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
no problem.
The minutes of June 9th need to add Kim Viega as present.
Would you like to use a microphone so Owen be able to hear you too?
Owen,
I can hear. I'm fine. Thank you.
Let me go back to call to order and people that are here. Sorry about that. So let me just do the roll call since we have someone on Zoom. So Jerry Baker is not here. John Kiker is here. John Abraham is here.
Yeah.
Skip Beebe.
Easy everything.
Kim Viega is not here. Tim Griswold is not here. Dan Hagan is here. Russell Leonard is here. Stephanie Gould is here. And Stephen Matson and Mary Stone are not here. Okay. So going back to the minutes of June 9th, we need to add Kim Viega as present. Anything else for the minutes? Motion for approval?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? They are approved. Okay, there is no communication or old business, so we're going to go directly to our new business, which is an update from point one from Rick and Kelsey. You want to do that?
I'll
You
start.
need to go?
No, we're gonna try to do it like you and loud and proud. Yeah, so we don't have a whole lot to report. We did hand out a results package, which we'll go over briefly with you guys. But just to let you know what's happening from this point, kind of what happened from the workshop, which was on the 6th of July, I think, right? The 6th. And then the day after that, we met with Stephanie and we talked about the programs and evolving programs and things like that. So we gathered some information that day as well. So we're still compiling information on a daily basis. We're also scheduling a mechanical engineer, IES, out of North Haven to come through here in the next couple of days, week maybe. Waiting for Jerry to come back. She want to be part of that. So that would be happening in the next couple, whenever that we can schedule out with Jerry to happen. So that's more information to kind of research what's happening with the existing facilities, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, things like that, and they'll give us a quick overview of what's here, life expectancy, and then potentially also give us a quick report on what happens when we want to extend the system if we're going to do an addition or something like that. So that's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. And then we're building up towards our next workshop, which I think has now been scheduled for August 4th. That's right, August 4th. Fourth, I think. It's the 4th. Okay. And so that'll be a follow-up to our first workshop, which part of that workshop presentation will be what we're going to show you today, which is results. We'll just present that to the entire group that will be back as well. So that's kind of what we want to do. And then also that meeting will be to present some design concepts in conceptual design format, kind of bubble diagram format. That's what that's for. So the results package, we're not going to do electronically on the board today. We just didn't think that it warranted the fact that it's full of technology. Everyone is pretty good managing their papers and packet in front of them. And so I'm going to kind of describe what page we're on. But the first three pages after the cover sheet, they're called the 3 words. This is the exercise we did with you, your board right here. And then this is a recap, basically, of what we heard at that meeting, and you can actually see on both pages, your Post-it notes drawn on here as well. So all the Post-it note work that we did is kind of in here. And so, just to recap, first of all, what you guys, how you currently feel about your existing space. Small, cramped, outdated, inflexible, and you believe that your current space is not sized or configured appropriately to accommodate your programs. The current finishes feel outdated and do not reflect the energy of your 55 and better community. That's kind of a synopsis of what we learned from those Post-it notes. The next Post-it notes, which is the describe in 3 words how you would like to feel when you're in the renovated space. Very overwhelming consensus. You want to feel welcoming and warm. You want the building to feel scaled right, and we talked a little bit about scale last time. Energetic and better flow, circulation, how people move through the space. So you want your renovated space to feel scaled appropriately and welcoming to the community. The space should have better circulation, reduce conflicts, and provide more flexibility. That's kind of the gist of those things. There's some more nuances to that, but we'll get into that. So the next series are, the next page is a cover sheet for Love It or Leave It. These are the results, and Kelsey can kind of take these and just talk about that if you don't mind. But these are from the workshop, the last 6. So.
Yeah, so the workshop, what we ended up doing is we had a red dot and a blue dot. The red was love it, the blue was leave it, and have everybody kind of interact and put their dots where they weren't really fond of places or they really enjoyed it. And then there was also a star where they were supposed to put their star where they are when they completed the most. So the first plan is the site, and I think, not too much work but needed for the site link diagrams, because right off the bat, you can tell that the blue, a lot of people are not fond of the entry.
Blue is bad, red is good, according to this.
People love the garden out front. There's a couple loves for the parking lot. And also on this, you see that the lawn and event lawn area has been used, and people like that space, but not so much the covered porch.
So is that way out there past the parking lot?
No, there's two bubbles past the parking lot near the septic system, so that was kind of an anomaly.
Yeah.
But mainly the blues are at the porch outside here.
Okay, got it.
And then 2 other blues onto the west side of the property, which are by where the dumpster is.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to say.
So, it's kind of very clear that the entry in that front space is kind of a tough one, and the porch. So the lawn and the garden, the front spots. And then most people spend their time outside the yard or coming through the front entry.
Yeah, that was a hard one, for sure.
And then we're just moving to the next level to leave it, which is the interior plan. That's a larger drawing.
Yeah, so this plan I think worked out really well. Started to really see here pretty much what we kind of saw on the site plan, but a little bit more in depth. A lot of people not liking that front entry, the covered entry. Some people enjoyed having the aspect of having an entry there, but the function of it is not working. The height, everything like that. The office space is really cramped. We had a lot of blue dots in that area. The bathrooms, there was barely any red.
We got one red in the bathroom. That's right. So.
And then the covered porch.
Spends the most time in the vestibule.
That one
I'm
was
just afraid to make that commitment.
I would say meet friendly faces.
Yes.
And so then you see the red, that people really like the lobby. The library space had a lot more red in that section area. The multi-purpose room where we are right now in the exercise room kind of had a mix, but those are the areas that people are and like the most.
And I think it's clear from the conversations we had at supporting all this information that, there's a love-hate relationship in the lobby space because they love the comfort of that space, but there's also this idea of disruption, circulation going through and out there. So some people love the ability to be there, but some people are a little bit concerned with how it flows right there. So we understand what those blue and red dots mean kind of in a design sense from our perspective.
So curious, what's wrong with bathrooms?
I think the finishes, the outdated, maybe I don't know. They're actually not bad bathrooms compared to
Yeah.
bathrooms in the world in general.
But they put in there.
So, I think as we get into that, there's a little bit of dollars you can spend to fix the bathroom and a lot of dollars you can spend to fix the bathroom. And so, one of the things that I think is going to come from this is there's probably going to be more bathroom space required. And it would probably probably good not to put it over there, but put it with whatever's new happening somewhere else. And put some more or less dollars into the old and just spruce those up perhaps. That may be coming as one of the options, so. All right, let's move on quickly to the beauty contest results, because these are fun. And we want to go to the first one. So we're gonna go to the exterior first.
Oh, yeah, so the exterior, and you can kind of see what we did here was, the first place was number 7, second place was number 5, and the third place is number 3. And those are the 3 pictures that are folded out a little bit more.
And the ones that have more saturated color on purpose,
Yeah.
those are the ones that are the highest ranked.
Yep, so number 7 kind of won by a landslide here. And everybody really liked the scale of it, the materials. Those are kind of some of the comments that we got.
A slight landslide. A slight landslide.
Yeah.
Not an overwhelming landslide.
Number 7, where is the entrance?
Well, it's actually on the other side, but, it's okay. We understand that.
That's Fox Stop area, isn't it?
That's Fox Stop here. So what we understand about that picture is that it's a low scale. It's not a dominating 2-story building. It's a 1-story building, not unlike the roof structure you currently have here. So it's not, the goal is not to take this existing building and change the character. It's about adding some other things to it that give it that feeling of warmth, scale, comfort, columns, a porch, some windows that might be more reflective of kind of warmth and feeling, things like that. And a little bit of architectural detailing always adds some warmth to that. So that's what we think we see from that.
Yeah, and 5 and 3 came in pretty close. They were, I think, 1 or 2 votes difference. And, the images to me are very similar. So I think it wouldn't surprise me.
5 and 3 are they senior centers?
No, I think they're, I don't know exactly.
So 5 is the senior center. In Colchester,
Oh,
yeah. I'm not sure where 3 is.
We did get comments on 3, everything, they like it, but they don't want the stairs, obviously.
Oh,
So the
yeah.
idea of accessibility is not, we're trying to match it.
I think the covered entry and portico really, relieve it back to what you have right now too. So I think that was another thing that
Now, what was overwhelmingly a winner loser would be the number 2 image, obviously. I think the majority of people, maybe out of the 18 respondents, 15 of those gave you the lowest ranking on that. So, pretty clearly not the direction I think the group wants to take the building. Which is smart. Okay, thank you. Move on. Interior large spaces. These are a little more, you're going to see the percentages closer together here, not so much discrepancy in winners or losers. Kind of more nuanced results.
Yeah. So the first place was number 4, second number 3, and then the third was number 1. And I really think in number 4, one of the things that grabbed people was the flexibility of the space. It was a very large space, but you can see how it's broken up with either furniture or the carpet, flooring, and
Half partitions or
half
whatever it might be.
partitions, open partitions. So I really think that, the high vaulted ceilings really drive that kind of picture.
Yeah, so that's really the difference between 4 and 1, even though their votes are kind of close by. 1 is very dedicated open space, and 4 is dedicated open space, but they're compartmentalized uses. And so you can kind of, I think that's why it went out a little bit because of that compartmentalization. That's what it does. So just a feeling of flexibility.
Yeah, and I think number 3 was just, windows, the way it's congregated, it's set up, is very similar to, how you would use tables, the flexibility of it.
And then moving on to the interior smaller spaces, I think this was pretty, this was interesting result. I didn't think number 8 was going to win, but number 8 did win, at least as far as the majority of votes there. So that's the bottom right image there, kind of very cozy, comfy, home feeling.
Fireplace, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Fireplace, and then I heard some people say, I like it all except for the fireplace, so it's very interesting. But number 1 came in a close second, and number 2 came in not very far behind that. So they're all pretty bunched together there. And it's interesting, if you take image number 1, which Kelsey did by accident, and with your hand cover the left-hand part of half of the left-hand part of that picture, it kind of almost looks like the number 8. They're very similar in how they fit up. So it's kind of just a trick of the space there. So and then obviously the number 2 image was I guess that home feeling that kind of built around a cafe community kind of set up thing there, so definitely that's part of that, the region. And number 3 was very low on the totem pole, which is that big open corporate kind of space, which, you know, sometimes we throw these low hanging fruit in there just to make sure we're on the right page, and that was the low hanging fruit that, yeah, check it out. So then the following page has, with all the images, just kind of a recap of the top 2 for each one kind of. So again, our job as designers isn't, our job as the design team is not to reproduce or replicate these images, but to get the flavor. This is the style, the flavor that you guys are looking as an organization, to come back to you guys with some kind of version of that flavor. I'm not going to copy the picture and put it on the building and say, here you go, you're all set and done. And that's not how it works. We're going to try to make the plan work best for you and then do the exterior to kind of work around it. So the flavor, this is the flavor phase I thought. And then finally, Kelsey can get into the spreading tree, which is pretty clear result on that one too.
Oh, yeah. The study tree was fun. I think everybody loved seeing the clubs and interacting and having some coins in their pocket.
By the way, not all the coins made in the buckets, so we're gonna have to check the pockets on the way. They're not real, just to let people know.
So it was a landslide on this one with the bucket number 3. We had 151 coins in it, and that was the one where people were looking to add more space with an addition. So that was primarily where all the coins ended up going. The second one was 99 coins, and it was bucket number 5. And that was to separate flexible open space. So that was, you know, we heard that a lot, and it showed also. And then the number 3, I'll go just to the top 3, but was bucket number 6, and it was 74 coins, and it was quiet rooms and spaces. Needed some dedication.
Well, we talked to people that when they were thinking almost of some of the offices. Okay, that idea of the office zone over there was part of that money as well as part of just this idea of having
Like services or, yeah, I think we
Correct.
talked about that too.
Correct, yep. And so what's interesting about this is the top 3 is 60% of the money went into that. Now, it doesn't mean that these other things don't get thought about in the design, by all means. But what we want to do is understand where the committee's responses will be when we start putting drawings together and budget together, making sure we're accommodating what you guys really want to spend your money on, because it's kind of a real exercise at that point when we're talking budget. So what I think was kind of a really interesting thing, the idea of curb appeal came down low, right? Really kind of generally low. Someone just felt comfortably put money into it kind of because they felt they had to. But it would almost be like, you know what, the last thing we really need to do is change the exterior this crazily, right? There's always some things we're going to do to spruce it up, but if all we came back to you in a couple of months, whether it was this exterior renovation, the project and not solve the top 3 bucket list, it's like we just did a really horrible job, right? But that being said, we're not going to ignore the outside of the space. There are all kinds of those hand in hand on that. We're going to solve the problem first. That's most important for guys. Same thing with energy efficiency and technology upgrade. You know, you're going to do a new building here, or a new addition to the building. Technology just has to be brought up to speed. There's nothing that's going to say we're going to put old stuff back in this new building. So we're going to always bring it up just by right, but we're not necessarily going to go overboard. Meaning, we may talk about integrating technology for like a screen or something like that, and some wireless things and stuff, but we're not necessarily going to go full-blown technology, kind of driving the process here. And the same thing.
Technology, like solar panels?
No, so that would be more in the energy efficiency kind of thing. So the idea of energy efficiency, similarly, we need to address that. The building code requires us to, whatever we're going to do, make sure that's meeting the energy efficiency requirements. We always like to go a little bit above that if possible. One of those steps, where if this was a large bucket list, would be the solar. Solar is the first thing you think of energy and renewable and things like that. There are other things, and probably the most important thing you can do for energy efficiency is getting your building envelope, the walls and the windows that are tight and good for keeping cold out and warm in, and vice versa. Cold in right now, this time of year, and warm out. So getting that envelope together is something we're going to do just by right. That's what we have to do as part of our building code. Adding solar panels, adding geothermal energy. We're not going to add a water power source here, I don't think, or a cogen plant or something like that. So those would be kind of taking things to another level. Nothing that says though that, we can't design in this case, the ability for solar panels in the future. If something comes along and there's this need to, or desire to add solar or get something built, something donated for solar, your long-term costs will come down and you're gonna be passing that on to the next generation of seniors here. And that would be a good thing. Can't be a bad thing to do that. So.
Have you been in the attic at all?
It's a truss system, so I have not been up in the attic.
The insulation up there needs a lot of help. A lot of
You
help.
went up? Okay.
Me and Greg went up.
It's a tree.
It's a tree of stuff and bad insulation.
Horrible.
No, yeah, a tree, I mean, you climb up a ladder like this.
Yeah.
Is the insulation at the ceiling level or upper?
Well, the different layers when you go up there.
Depending where you're
And you
standing.
got the greatest entrance, ladder on the wall we climbed up.
Okay.
So that wasn't in the plans.
Then I'll probably never go. That's not my job.
What kind of insulation is it?
I think,
The air handlers and stuff is not really, it's just strange how it's set up, and it's a huge area.
Yeah.
So,
Well, big truss roof on that side, big especially, right? Because it's even taller. And to reiterate one last thing, we did not put accessibility buckets. We talked about that at the workshop because it's just, we're gonna make it accessible. Yeah. And it's like, let's not waste coin there because we already know that.
you guys are-
So that's really what we have as a recap. And I said, this will be presented in a similar fast, quick pace form with the group on the 4th of August as a precursor, a pre-start to what we're gonna talk about as far as the design concepts and getting some reaction to that. So,
And that group is the board of directors. Yeah, what group is that?
well, we're hoping it's a very similar group that was here at workshop 1.
Okay,
So workshop 1, which was on the 6th of July, we're gonna hope here.
that is the board of directors
And some
any
outside.
building committee members. who want to-
Yeah.
UN observers.
Yes,
There you go.
and some, yeah.
What'd you say?
UN
Yes.
observers. Those sitting on the side, making sure it all happens.
What time is that on ours?
I believe it's one.
I believe it's one too. I won't be here, but I remember.
We'll make sure it's, we get the time for.
Yeah, it's, I barely know it's my time tomorrow, so Kelsey's better with that. That's, I mean, that's all we have to.
Okay. Any other questions for Rick and Kelsey? Great. Well, thank you, guys.
One thing, sorry, it was fun, first of all, workshop, so
Yeah,
we got
it was
several
fun.
people came back and thanked us for it, we're very intrigued by it, and we appreciate that. And it was a very nice article in the paper the day on that, so it was very.
Well, I think it's simple enough so anybody can comprehend. Because a lot of people don't know how buildings, anything about it, so the way you presented it, and it seems a unanimous vote for most of the stuff that, you know, at least I had thought about would be most important.
And then if your way is there, then you're good to go, nobody's gonna change that. You're, that's just kidding. So, yeah, no, it's a good way to do it.
Does Jerry have plans to have you meet with the leadership of the town of Lyme and Old Lyme?
So we have done that once with Lyme.
Yep.
Yeah, and not anything with Old Lyme yet.
So just with Steve?
Yeah, but no one else.
Other people?
Yeah, I'm thinking the board of finance would be interested in just getting our perspective presented, so you have that in your pocket, as far as cost and, well, cost.
I appreciate that. So we could talk to Jerry about trying to set something up offline and just come into your office or something in town hall and do that, however that might work, so.
Yeah, I'll do that, Jerry.
It'd be good to have a combined meeting with Tim, Steve, and
I just try to figure out the timing of that.
Yeah.
From your perspective, when is the time to start going into self-position?
Well, I mean, finances, you can never start thinking about money too early, right? Well, you can if you want to blow the project up, but,
either direction.
So, but having a conversation about that then leads direction towards what the outcome down the road is gonna be. If there is no budget to start about, then we come back with some really big dreams. And sometimes that's okay. Our goal when we come back is to look at this in the three packages, 3 different perspectives. And the 3 different perspectives are gonna be based on the amount of scope of work to achieve the list of things we want here. There'll be a lower scope, there'll be a medium scope, and there'll be a higher scope, and each one of those will come at a different price point, and I think they're all relative. Prices are all relative to the scope of work. Now, whether that first scope of work, and this is just to your point, is a $200,000 project, and the other one's a 400, and the other one's a 600, or is it a 2 million, a 4 million, and a 6 million, right? We don't necessarily
Big meeting with the town
would give us that parameter.
would give you that perspective perhaps. Or would just confuse you further.
No, because architects, designers, if we don't have parameters, it's really hard to design. If you're designing in a vacuum, then Russell probably does this all the time. He sits there and spins his brain around. So you've got to give me a rule to follow here, otherwise I don't know how to start. And we do the same thing. If you don't give us a rule, make it. And we'll put rules in front of us. And thank God we have things like the zoning board. They put rules in front of us. And the building, the health department, they put rules in front of us. So they already start to give those things. Your site gives us rules. Budget is a rule. Rules probably the wrong term, not constraint.
Okay, any other questions? What one?
Yeah, about the date of the next meeting, the minutes say the 11th of August.
That's our
meeting.
that's not the workshop.
Workshop's the 4th. We're gonna
The
confirm,
workshop will be on the 4th.
right, we're gonna confirm whether it's at 1 o'clock. Pretty sure it is. Any other questions? Okay, going to this agenda, publicity update, then I think Examiner has done a couple of articles, I believe, that it seems fine. I think they're continuing to follow this development, and Owen is here from Line, continuing to follow this development, so we're happy about that. There's no new business, so any comment from the public? Okay. Well, thanks for being here. Okay, so our next meeting date is August 11th. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
You do, I'll make that.
Second.
Or any discussion? Okay, we are adjourned.
Wow, you ran it perfect.
You
You
are-
were scared we only needed the first time.
You should be a selectman. I would say that.
I know. But you can't win every aspect of it. Yes.
I'm sorry, it's all come back. Hey, John, now I know what you're talking about.
You had a correction to the meeting minutes on the 9th. What was that?
Kim Diego was actually there.
Okay, Kim Diego was.
It might be good to try
Okay.
to put it in better.
You're gonna have to give these two.
I'm sorry?
Share it.